Today, I will be channeling Albert Einstein. If Albert were around today, he might say, in the beginning, well, there was no beginning, and there will never be an end to the universe. The Big Bang never happened, or if there was one, it was a little bang and didn't create the entire universe. At least that is what we have learned from the very expensive space telescope. Creation is an ongoing process that keeps us evolving. We have been here before, not in the same bodies, but our spirits have inhabited other bodies in prior lives as we continue the journey of life on planet Earth. And we haven't always been here because this world has not always been habitable. There is evidence that humans have been living here for at least 400,000 years. But before that, we lived in different parts of the galaxy and maybe even other galaxies. Before you get lost by the universal nature of our souls, capable of interstellar travel, it's good to remember Newton's law of conservation of energy while understanding that the soul is energy that can't be destroyed but must be transferred to another vessel. We grow from our experiences and seek to gain a broader perspective. Yes, we stand on the shoulders of giants, but the Smithsonian covered up most of the evidence of giants that were unearthed, although several skeletons remain in other countries. I have revised my previous thoughts on things of afterlife and have determined that reincarnation is a fact of life that is designed for evolutionary growth, stimulating greater understanding and a wider range of learning to key into expanded consciousness. You are the totality of every life you've led, holding on to traits and interests that concern or fascinate you the most. Out of necessity, there were some past life experiences that are better left buried, as they have no relevance to any progress, possibly being detrimental, in fact. However, some images, qualities, instincts, and memories remain in your subconscious. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Information is not knowledge. The only source of knowledge is experience. You need experience to gain wisdom. Knowledge and ego are directly related. The less knowledge, the greater the ego. And we have a case in point, that orange man in the White House, yeah? So, if you have ever wondered why you were born, it's because you have karma to work out with people from previous incarnations. And the purpose to fulfill your unexperienced desires of accomplishment. It's partly the law of cause and effect. Some may posit that karma is relative, which is why some close relatives have issues that fester forever because it lingers from an earlier life. This is why forgiveness is divine. It allows you to move on, detached from the shackles of past guilt, fear, or anger. Once you are free of the karmic wheel, you can steer your own course towards a self-directed, self-fulfilling direction in your future. On the other side of the coin, there is an evolutionary purpose for reincarnation, regardless of any deadhood. Often, it's a means of reconnecting with souls you've known in prior lives, allowing you to begin anew with a fresh start and a clean slate. Love is the purpose of life, giving it meaning. It gives the soul a chance to forgive and forget, making it easier to move on. Dwelling in the past gets you nowhere except to a reality of guilt, regret, and remorse, which binds you to your own negative history. Get past your past, or you just won't last, as the world is changing fast and the die is cast. Although God doesn't play dice with the universe. As Shakespeare wrote in As You Like It, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have the exits and the entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. And either you know the rest or can look it up. When you consider the different conditions of the soul on its journey through life, observation informs you that many people get stuck in one phase or another of the 7 ages. Most often, the problem is age related, but some people just stop growing at one particular phase of growth. Mainly, it's because they forgot who they are. You are not what you do. As much of that is the process of living on the earth plane, which also applies to what you have in material terms. You are, however, what you think, having become what you thought. Every previous intention brought you to this point in your personal evolution. And now is the time to hold up a mirror and reflect on who you want to become. But I can tell you what we all are. We are cells in the body of God. And what is God? God is everything, everywhere, all at once. Not a personal God which responds to humans, but nature's God. It is the universal principle of oneness. All is one, and one is all. God is within and without, and you either accept it or turn away from it. But you are always a part of that universal energy entity. Another consideration is that everyone and everything exists in relation to other things and people. As such, there are laws of attraction and laws of affinity that pull people into your orbit. And there are animals and giants that are symbolic or are mutually beneficial. Of course, that includes plants that are beneficial or not, and fruits and vegetables among them. Of course, there are entities that prey on other living things, but that can be avoided in a world of survivalists. A unified, a unified theory remains elusive, but I would say that we are all connected in this vast cosmos and should become more appreciative that we share similarities and differences. There is darkness and there is light. There is matter and there is the vast emptiness between galaxies. And we humans are physical and spiritual beings. One exists in time and space, while the other is timeless and infinite. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen all at once. Time is man's attempt to dissect the eternal. So, here and now, accept yourself for who you are by learning more about yourself through the depth analysis of astrological explanation. Your life was planned out from the moment you were born by yourself and your spirit guides and masters. Together, you mapped out the lessons you had to learn in order to move on to a higher vibrational dimension. You have incorporated several talents, skills, and abilities that filter into your consciousness, in your conscious awareness, through the development of an interest in whatever it may be. This is why some people are polymaths, as many of their past lives are vying to be heard. They remember things that they never learned in this life and can't tell you where those thoughts came from or how they know what they know. Speaking of astrology, this year is momentous in that all four giant outer planets have just changed signs. While that's an every year affair for Jupiter, Saturn takes 2.5 years in a sign. Uranus spends 7 years in a sign, and Neptune lingers for 14 years in each. So it's rare that in just over 3 months' time, it happens this spring and summer 2025. The solar system operates with cycles and patterns that repeat in a semi-regular method. Nikola Tesla postulated that waves of energy respond to frequency, vibrations, and resonance, which he used to channel the power of the planet itself to distribute energy to the world for free. But then J.P. Morgan pulled the financial plug and sent poor Nikola into a downward spiral. But he wasn't seeing the universe, just the earthly energies. Speaking of the vastness of space, aliens are real, and they have visited Earth for millions of years. Too many witnesses over the centuries have documented their appearance for it to be imagination, delusions, or drugs. Everything from cave paintings to cell phone videos have shown us many shapes and sizes of flying objects that are far beyond our capability. For the government to cover up their existence since World War II was a disservice to the people who deserve to know the truth. Many believe we were seeded here by travelers from other worlds, some using their own DNA to merge with evolving hominids, which would be the missing link on the evolutionary timeline. And that's the story from the Sumerians, and they should know because they were there. I'm going to continue this in part 2. So stay tuned, please.